guys. Hello. I just wanted to testify on how good God has been to me. Um, Ever since I was a child, I remember I was 6 years old, and every day my dad would carry me on his shoulders, and we would walk, man. We lived at 15th Avenue, and we would walk every morning to 6th Avenue because that's where my primary school was at. My dad would wear his suit every day. He would carry me on his shoulders with my little school bag on my back, and he would carry me. He would hold my hands like this, way up in the air, so he would balance me. And we would walk, drop me off at school, and he would go to work. And he'd fetch me after school from this other lady who I took as a grandmother, because she would fetch me from school and my dad would find me there, because school would knock off at 1:30 and he would only get off work at 4 p.m. So I don't know what happened this other day. I got lost. He dropped me off at school, but somehow I found myself lost walking on the streets. And I was only 6. I remember this story very well. And some old man, he was a traditional healer, he saw me. I think he was standing there by his I don't know if I should call it a shop where he sells his medicine, herbal medicines, and he called me, asked me who I was and why I was crying. I was just a little 6-year-old girl. Then I don't know, my dad somehow found out where I was and he came to fetch me. I've never been so happy to see my dad, because I was lost. I didn't know the way back home. I didn't know my way to school. Remember, my dad would carry me every day on his shoulders, and him carrying me like this, I didn't even care or worry about checking out the route from my house to school, because I was so safe in my father's arms. Little did I know that I would get lost again when I was 35, 36, 37, 38, and I'm 39 this year. So lost. Didn't know my way back home. But my father found me. And he found me and said, "Hey, this is your way back home. Where are you going? You are lost." Because I was so lost in the world. I forgot who I am. I got comfortable because my father has always been there for me. And he always carried me, you see. Until I became a mom, into my womanhood, he's always been carrying me on his shoulders. So every time I got comfortable, I didn't know the way back home, because God has always been carrying me. My Father in heaven has always carried me. And at some point, I got lost. Don't know where I was going. Couldn't find my way back home. But he found me again. That's when I realized that he's been also carrying me on his shoulder. That's why I was unable to even find my way back home, because he has been doing everything for me. But when I got lost, I couldn't do anything for myself. I was miserable. depressed, on a verge of suicide. And he found me and said, "This is the way home. Where have you been? I've been looking for you. You got lost, but I found you again." So I just want to give thanks to my Father, praises and glory and honor, because I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but today I can see. Our God is always good. You see, when you're walking and you see your footsteps and his footsteps in front of you, and you're just walking behind his footsteps, and at some point you only see your footsteps and you think God has left you, you are wrong. Your footsteps that you see are not yours. That time he's carrying you. That's why you don't see a pair of your footsteps and a pair of his footsteps. You only see only one pair of footsteps. Those are his. Because that time he's carrying you, because you can't do anything. So do not underestimate the Father that created you. He loves you. Come back home. There's so much peace at home. I found peace. I'm out of that ditch of depression. I don't have anxiety anymore. I'm not lost anymore. He found me. And I'm so grateful. So I hope you pray that God lights the way so you find your way back home, just like the prodigal son who was dirty, eating with pigs like me. I was so dirty. You know, when you're lost, you don't want nothing. You are dirty. You don't have anywhere to go. But when your Father sees you there coming, he'll come running and hug you and say, "My child, welcome back home." The way my earthly father used to carry me is the way my spiritual father carries me. He loved me since I was in my mother's womb. So I just wanted to confess, guys, that my Father is the greatest man. My Father is the most amazing God ever. So seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. All of the good things, then they will come to you, because he's a Father of peace. He's a Father of forgiveness. And I found my peace.